Yeah, airplanes and submarines, is not laudable for its specificity and accuracy, but to give the flavor of it,
Yeah.
we all have. Well, let's go to the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system, different from the central nervous system, is basically a preparatory system, an anticipatory system. It is how we get ourselves juiced up to be active, to feel vital, to fight or to flee or to freeze, and also to digest and kick in the immune system to rest and sleep, but also we can react to threat by fainting or stilling. So we have this whole energy system called the autonomic nervous system that is kind of a weights and balance that keeps us alert, hopefully alert, but relaxed. So not all of us have a fully coupled autonomic nervous system for childhood. We don't really understand. We know what decoupling is, and that's usually in the case of disorganized attachment where there is frightening parenting, or there's something that is very traumatizing very early in infancy. However, we don't really know why there are these biases where somebody tends to be more in the high sympathetic range. And by high sympathetic, I mean higher heart rate, higher blood pressure, and affects that are aligned with these states like joy, excitement, orgasm, ecstasy, but also terror and rage and mania. That's on the high end. On the low end, in the parasympathetic area, we have repose, meditation, contemplation, but also sadness and depression, and in particular, anaclitic depression, which is mother loss or broken heart syndrome. That gets to be a little bit more dangerous biologically. And then shame is also way down there. So we have people that seem to be biased at the higher end, and these are people who are high vitality, risk takers. We might think of Ronald Fairbairn's, overly stimulated ego, where somebody is constantly seeking excitement. These people are quick to anger. They have high libidos that last through the lifespan, it seems, and they have a hard time dealing with the lower states of sadness, depression, shame. They avoid it. It's almost as if they don't know how to regulate those states. And we can look to the family for that, because the entire family seems to be organized in this way. So we call them airplanes because they're stuck sort of at the higher range, and they're not as fluid in terms of their movements, especially downward. Submarines are those who are not necessarily depressed, but they're at the lower end. These people are low vitality. They don't use in their lexicon words like excitement or serendipity or epiphany or a thrill. They're not roller coaster people. I liken submarines to the painting American Gothic. If you know what that one looks like with the pitchfork and everything, they're kind of that, Their idea of love is utilitarian. It's not romantic, right? And that's just how they roll. And so when these people get together, we call them biphasic, because one is high and the other is low, and they do attract each other because they're so different from their families of origin. You're exciting, you do these things. I've never done these things. You're full of technicolor. I need that. And the other person says, you're grounding. You hold me down. I mean, in a good way. I've never had that. I've never seen that. So they like each other, and they spend time enough to average each other's arousal levels out within tolerance of attraction. The problem with them is when they get married or they start actually being together as primaries, they're busy in their worlds, and because they're too far away on the arousal spectrum, they smack into each other whenever they reunite.
Which is why you see more airplanes and submarines together in front of you in counseling sessions.
In the counseling room.
Yeah.
Yes, and I can't say that they are, that they are really common because of their differences,
Right.
but they're not rare either.
No, okay.
Uh,
I know they're not rare. Yeah.
Yeah. Am I right sort of looking at Winnie the Pooh? Because it actually came up in a session recently, the metaphors. But we've kind of got Tigger, who's a aeroplane, and Eeyore,
Yes.
who's
Eeyore is a submarine. Yes, yes.
Right. Okay, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of science that we could be explaining to clients, but when you wrap it all into this very simple metaphor, and we talk about, the airplane is going up and doing the loops, and the submarine's down in the depths, and somehow, and Stan, you talk about meeting, at sea level.
Yes. Or near sea level.
Or near sea level, and couples get it. They go,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like a light turns on, yes. And they walk away with that metaphor, and they've now got something very concrete. Well, if you want to know more about the science of psychotherapy, come across to our website, thescienceofpsychotherapy.com, and our podcast of the same name, and learn more about the science of you.